The recent prisoner exchange between Israel and Hamas aimed to bring peace. Hamas released Israeli hostages and Israel freed Palestinian prisoners. International mediators brokered the deal. Instead of peace, the exchange ignited anger and grief in Israel. The return of hostages' bodies shattered hopes for peace. A misidentification further fueled fury and suspicion. The incident highlighted the deep mistrust in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The misidentification of Shiri Bibas's body marked a turning point in Israeli public opinion. It wasn't just about a logistical error. It became a symbol of everything wrong with the prisoner exchange. Many felt Hamas had manipulated and betrayed Israel. The public sentiment, once hopeful, turned to anger and a thirst for revenge. The incident breathed new life into the hardline stance against Hamas. Calls for a strong military response grew louder. The public questioned the effectiveness of negotiations. They demanded a show of force against those they saw as terrorists. The emotional toll of the situation was undeniable. Prime Minister Netanyahu, facing immense pressure, vowed retribution. He promised to bring Shiri Bibas home. He pledged to hold Hamas accountable for the deaths of the hostages. His words resonated with the public's anger and grief. The incident gave him the platform to solidify his image as a strong leader. The events also highlighted the limitations of international mediation. Despite the efforts of Qatar, Egypt and the US, the situation remained volatile. The ceasefire, already fragile, was further jeopardized. The incident underscored the deep-seated mistrust that continues to plague the peace process. Prime Minister Netanyahu, a seasoned politician known for his hawkish stance, recognized the shift in public sentiment. He seized the opportunity to consolidate his power. Netanyahu channeled the nation's grief and anger into a call for unity and strength. He addressed the nation, his voice heavy with emotion. He condemned Hamas as a ruthless enemy that understands only force. He vowed to avenge the deaths of the hostages and ensure the safety of all Israelis. His words resonated with a public hungry for justice and security. Netanyahu's approval ratings, which had been steadily declining, saw a sharp increase. The public rallied behind his leadership, perceiving him as the only one capable of dealing with the Hamas threat decisively. This surge in popularity provided him with a much-needed political lifeline. However, this surge in support came at a cost. Critics argued that Netanyahu was exploiting a national tragedy for political gain. They accused him of fueling the flames of conflict for his own benefit. The situation highlighted the complex interplay between politics, public sentiment, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The fallout from the prisoner exchange has left the Israeli-Palestinian peace process hanging by a thread. The fragile ceasefire, already strained by previous violations, is in danger of collapsing completely. The international community has expressed deep concern over the escalating tensions. Calls for restraint and a return to negotiations have been met with skepticism and anger. The trust deficit between the two sides has reached an all-time high. The situation in Gaza remains dire. The ongoing blockade and the threat of renewed conflict have exacerbated the humanitarian crisis. The population, already suffering from poverty and lack of essential services, faces an uncertain future. The path forward remains unclear. The possibility of a negotiated settlement seems increasingly distant. The cycle of violence and retaliation threatens to engulf the region once again. The international community faces the daunting task of rebuilding trust and creating conditions for lasting peace.